value driver is supply demand matching. Since we are having the digital data and the data driven demand prediction forecasting is there, so forecasting accuracy increases up to 85% or more than that. So then cost for that is quality. Cost for quality reduced by 10 to 20% using the automatic digital statistical process control, advanced process control. I have one case study. I will show that in the due course of presentations. Then inventories. Cost of inventories holding decreases by 20 to 50% because in that case we can another you can also use the another term single piece production, one piece production. Okay, the inventory that is possible. 3D printing, real-time supply chain optimization is there. Batch size of one. That is again lean principle. Then the labor. So there is a human-robot collaboration. Sometimes we call it cobot. So remote monitoring and control, digital performance is there, automation of knowledge work is there. So you can expect a 45 to 55% increase in productivity in technical professions through automation of knowledge work. So these are, you can see that there are 80 value, eight value drivers, main drivers, and then in each and one group we are having another practical levers. So you can get the advantage of these Industry 4.0 technologies. Now, why to follow? Because the leading industries 4.0 vendors, you can see that the list. So connected industry building blocks, that is industrial IoT platform, hosting, analytics, microchips, sensors, connectivity, hardwares, cyber security, system integrations, then additive manufacturing, augmented and virtual reality, and there are so many things are there, and everywhere there are some leaders. So we should follow them, and because of that leadership, they are in the Fortune 500 companies. Many of them are Fortune 500 companies. So the main theme today's session is about a digital transformation. So this is one slides which indicates the propagation of industrial digitalization. That is digitalization first, then digitalization, and then digital transformation. So in first one, we're having digitalization, that is changing from analog or physical to digital form, like our taking a photo, that is scan copy, PDF, etc. So digitize information. So whatever we are having the paper, we are converted that document into a digital document, that is soft copy. Then organize information. Third one is that second stage is that digitalization. So digitalization uses digital technologies and information to transform individual organization operations. So that is about process. So we have to automate process and streamline process. And the last stage is digital transformation that transform the complete organization. So digital transformation is a series of deep and coordinated culture, workforce, and technology that shift that enable new educational and operating models and transform and organizations, operations, strategic directions, and value propositions. So this is indicated the journey from digitization to digitalization and to digital transformation. And since this is one slide, but I slightly differ with the information contained in this slide because, for example, in digitization, first it is mentioned that digitize information and then organize information. But in my opinion, first we have to organize the information. We should find out which documents we have to take, we have to scan and create it into as a soft copy. So first organize information and then digitize that information. Similarly, for digitalization, first should be the streamline of process and then automation. If you do automation first and then streamline process afterwards, that is a reverse way. So we have to apply lean principle first. First streamline the processes, try to remove the waste in that, and then try to automate it. Otherwise, if your processes are having the wastage and that will be automated, that again create the more waste. So instead of that, in my opinion, the that step should be streamline process first. That means using lean principles and then make it automated process. And of course, last one is the same. Of course, this is one of the slide I had taken from Bestie. which is a educare review, and everybody has their opinion. So that's okay, fine. But in my opinion, this should be the sequence. Digital transformation. So change of the business model, processes, technology. These three in the other side, the technology is not issue. The issue is the culture. Culture, if you do not have the culture to implement any improvement model, that is useless. So culture, change in culture is the prime important work of the top management. So they have to work on it, how we can develop a digitized culture, which embrace digital technologies and require digital skills. And before and after, you can see the digital transformation. Previously, when we you want to purchase medicines or groceries and something like that, we have to go to the market every time, and then this was the old concept. Now, on the click of mobile, you can select, for example, Amazon or any other uh, market. You can have online shopping. You can select the product. You can see the product. You can see the 3D model of that. Okay, you can have the description of that. You have the everything. It is on the click. You can have the reviews of the product, and you can pick up, put in the cart, and then if you selected final one, then you can place the orders. Everything can be sitting at home. Okay, so that is now, for example, in the near future, what is going to happen? For example, suppose I want to purchase products and some items from the suppose DMart or Big Bazaar, like that. So what is going to happen in the future? Today, at present, we are visiting that mart like DMart. Then we physically move around that lanes and then finding which product is where and then where. So in the next phase, what is going to happen? On the 3D view will be generated. Every customer will know on the which shelf what is there. The information, everything will be on the same single click. So at sitting at home, you can you can place the orders. Okay. Till today we are having that, but it is not connected or it is not coupled with the 3D views, like a virtual movement on the mart. It is not at present. It is not there. So in coming days, it is going to happen. So Industry 4.0 is a combination of digitization, and digital transformation based on cyber physical systems, integrating information and communication technology, then global network of human manufacturing assets, industrial process and business process. The objective of the Industry 4.0 is that to facilitate data-driven autonomous decision-making process. That autonomous, which is based on data. Okay, that means it cannot go wrong. Trace, track, monitor, control, and maintain assets and process in real time. That is important part, real time. Real-time value creation in interconnected supply chain network through early involvement of stakeholders like suppliers, the business partners, the customers, etc. And then vertical integration and horizontal integration of an organization for entire life cycle of a product. Now, the horizontal integration, that means the collaborative partners, suppliers, customers, and the manufacturing process, the sourcing and logistics, etc. This comes into the horizontal integration, and in the vertical integration, the support system required to manufacture. That is, we require the finance, tax, IT sectors, IT services, equipments, production, assets, then after sales service, sales, marketing, R&D, etc. And obviously the manufacturing. So this is vertical integration. So we have to connect all these things together. So digitization as a necessary first step for many artificial engineering projects. So if you go for the advanced technologies, you must have first digitalization or digital transformation. So help to extract value from the data that is blocked in the non-digital assets or an human-based processes. So that data, extract the value from the data. Data is the foundation layer upon which the information, understanding, knowledge, wisdoms, insight can be generated. So further value enhancement to business organization is allowing to tackle harder business problems having more strategic values. Without the foundation layer of organization cannot go for the higher level of technologies like artificial intelligence, machine learning, and etc. So Industry 4.0, at the start, we are seeing that we're having what is this, what is happening, why this happened, like that. So we have discussed that. But before that, we must have one step, that is competition and connectivity. So that is provided by digitization. Without that, we cannot go for the higher technologies. The transformation approach over here, the top line and bottom line approach. So top line revenue growth approach ensure customer delight by offering superior and more smart and differentiated products and services, ensure more digital and reliable customer experiences across any channel through understanding and visibility of customers. That transparency is important part. So end-to-end transparency is there, visibility is there, and tracking and tracing, everything is there. Then bottom line, cost saving, that is nothing but a process improvement approach through highly efficient and extra effective innovative processes. Focus on using more responsive, flexible, intelligence-driven manufacturing processes and integrating the supply chain for further automation with the deployment of the process automation, digitally capable equipments and machines, improvement methodologies such as lean manufacturing, and then exploring beyond basic automation by applying machine learning algorithms for enhanced performance and efficiency of the system. So we require the smart operations. So operations should be smart. Now what is smart, we'll define later on. The smart operation decisions using online real-time sensor data from all parts of the process, and external offline historical data is also available. You can use that, or as well as you can also use the web data. So stimuli for digital transformation is technology induced, customer induced, innovation induced, and ecosystem induced. So technology, the leverage of and adoption of technologies by customers, workers, and new entrant. Then customer inducement as a consequence of technological adoption and innovation, or as a need which becomes pressing. Then ecosystem induced the changes in the economy, partners, ecosystems, regulations, geopolitics, etc. And innovation induced innovations and inventions with the profound impact on the society. So these are the four stimuli for digital transformation. The technologies adopted, there are many technologies. In these slides, we're having 9, but there are more than 20 technologies are there. So advanced manufacturing solutions, additive manufacturing, augmented reality, simulations like digital twins, horizontal and vertical integration, industrial internet, cloud, which is the data is stored, and we require cybersecurity for that data, and big data analytics. So these are some of the technologies used in the Industry 4.0. Then cyber physical systems, CPS. You can see this. This is the factory. Only one operator is there, and everything is automated and autonomous. So we are having 3 layers over there in this CPS system: the connection layer, then middleware layer, and then competition layer. So in the first phase, first stage, we are having connection layer, where workpiece, machine tools, automated guide vehicles, industrial robot, staff, adaptive devices, and sensors, actuators, etc. measurement devices are fall under in this category. So basically, these connect with the machines remotely, or with the wire or wireless communication may be there, and the data is collected. The data will pass to the middle layer, that is CPS node, that is CNC machine center. Then second is the CPS unit and the flexible manufacturing systems or cell, which have the more machines, and then CPS system, a shop floor equipped with CPS components. So all these 3 are a middleware. Then this data is transferred to the computational layer. Either it may be stream computing or batch computing. Stream computing, that means continuous data is feeding to the system. Batch computing, so time interval is there. So that data, raw data, the data integration will take place, then data process, and then data interpretation. And based on that interpretation, we can have the knowledge pattern. That is, you can have the pattern of the data, then knowledge, we can get the insight. So that software will do this work automatically: knowledge discovery, knowledge learning, intelligent decision making, everything based on data, and autonomously decision will taken. Then external applications, like condition monitoring, performance prediction, scheduling, quality control, etc. So everything is automated and autonomous. The decisions taken based on the data automatically. I would like to show you one video. Siemens bottling plant. Is it visible?
No, it is not visible. You will have to, in the, if you press your share screen, choose that window, because you're moved to a different
window,
window, still on the previous window.
Sir, अभी दिख रहा है?
नहीं दिख रहा है.
You have to click on that CPS bottle.
Or you stop this share, or I can do that for you, and then you share that particular window.
Okay. ये stop करूँ क्या? या फिर last में
दिखाता हूँ. share stop करिए, दूसरा
otherwise
start करिए.
Otherwise I can we can run all videos later on. At the end also it will do, no problem.
Better it is that doctor would single would display it now, otherwise that reference will go away.
No problem, sir. Difference will be there, no problem.
Okay.
PPT visible, sir?
No, it is not visible, sir. You will have to stop the share and do a fresh share of that window.
No, he is doing video later on. Video later on. PPT is okay now. Yeah, visible. Go ahead, Dr. Jadhav.
Okay, sir. Is it visible, sir?
Yes, it is visible.
Okay.
You can continue. Okay.
So after CPS, that is cyber physical systems, we are having social cyber physical systems, which involves people as well. That is social part element is there. So internet of people, that is social system, mobile internet, and the social media, etc. In the internet of contents and knowledge, we are having artificial intelligence, data mining, semantic, etc. Then internet of things, already we are discussed AVG, that is automated guided vehicles, machine tools, robots, etc. And on the right side, we are having data storage, that is cloud storage, cloud computing, that cyber systems are there. So all these four elements now come into form called a social cyber physical production system. So we're talking about now the digital transformation, smart X. So what is smart? Which leads to smart anything, the smart anything or smart X phenomenon. So smart anything or smart X, that means it is also sometimes invariably called as intelligent system. So it is fully integrated, collaborative, hyper flexible, self-adapting, and self-learning system. So it connects different process, informations, streams, and stakeholders. The second characteristic is that it uses real-time data from sensors to monitor and enhance process efficiency, reduce human interventions. The third characteristic is respond in real time. So you can see that after collecting data, the data is processed and then actions have been taken in real time, very fast, to meet the changing demands and conditions. Next characteristic is that it provides real-time visibility, end-to-end transparency, and real-time asset tracking, tracking of factory resources, and quality of processes. For examples, we're having smart cities, smart buildings, smart plants, smart factories, smart facilities, smart grids, smart energy, and so many things. So I have covered here 12 smart things. And before that, we'll discuss about digital culture. So developing digital culture, that is most important part. Then smart digital innovations, smart workforce, smart material, smart technologies, smart machines and devices, smart manufacturing or production, smart factory, also called a digital factory, smart data management, smart product development, then smart services development, and smart logistics, smart supply chain. So we'll quickly have a bird view of this. What do you mean by all these things? So developing a digital culture. So that culture may be a roadblock or it may be catalyst for digital transformation. That based on the company's top management and the workforce. So and their willingness to adopt new technologies because it required a completely new set of skills are required for these digital transformations. So this prerequisite to digital transformation isn't a technical issue, but a cultural change. So customer centricity or focus, then first mindset to be changed. We're having the flexibility, innovations, data-driven decision making, collaboration is required, open culture is there required to share the knowledge and informations across the supply chain. And then you can set a clear vision and have a visible leadership involvement, invest the digital skills that matters for the and applicable to your organization, use collaboration tools to increase the transparency, visibility, and reach out to the employees, take a system thinking approach to cultural change, make digital culture change tangible, when deploy change agent and empower employees to drive digital culture, design new digital KPIs, focus on behavior rather than success or failures. So all these things are required. Basically, we have to change the mindset. And that is very difficult part, critical and tricky part of implementation. First, we have to work on this. Simply by putting new machineries, sophisticated machineries, hi-fi technologies is not sufficient. We have to first change the set of mindset of the workforce, including the top management. Now, second is smart digital innovations. So persistently rewrites the rule book for business because well-established industries also facing new intimidations at a rapid rate from the competitors, and many of the new competitors are there, which are techno-savvy. Evolving behaviors of modern techno-savvy and informed customers. Today's customers are very smart. Before purchasing your product, they also have the review on the websites and so many things. They also know the technicality part. The application of new disruptive technologies for new product development or a feature or a service, prevailing business problems and practices in process, offer a new opportunity to the industries to create value, evolve and grow through the digital innovations. For example, we're having the smart digital healthcare. Now we can see that doctors are having that tab and that X-rays or MRI reports, everything is there on their tab and they can use live in the operating theaters. The second example is smart digital tourism. So you can see that QR code is there. This is in the Philippines, that project has been taken. So simply by having that QR code, you can have the access for all tourist points, their informations, their history, everything is there in that information, digital information. So that will be a big boost for tourism in Philippines. Smart workforce, top management also need a special skill because they are the drivers to lead the digital transformation. Need smart workforce. Obviously, the factories are evolving from the traditional plant to the part of the past to the small factories of the future, smart factories of the future. Then building digitally skilled workforce for translation from the automated work environment. So smart decision making based on the predictive data analytics, machine learning, virtual reality, augmented reality, etc. And hence we require a workforce which is having digital skill. So digital fluency, technology savviness, and data analytics skills are required for the new generation of workforce. So you can see on the right hand side, we're having the worker, which having one tab. Simply you can see what is happening on the shop floor. Okay, and they can control everything from a single tab. Smart or intelligent or responsive materials and smart fluids. So they can be embedded with the magnetic fields. They can be actuated from magnetic field and magnetic nanoparticles may be there, which will be embedded in this. So we are having the stimulus like photos, heat, electro, and moistures. So the photo, for example, now the photo, that is a photo which combined with the heat. will create a shape memory polymers. Then heat alone can have the shape memory polymers, metals, etc. Shape memory affects high thermal expansion materials like that. And then electro and heat combine together volume expansion, that is thermal expansion or phase transformation. Then water, that is moisture and electro. We can have electro responsive hydrogels. Then moistures, hydrophily or hydrogels we can use. So there are so many things. So many new materials are developed. And as I understood, where ASM is more about interested in these materials. So multifunctional and high performance product needs advanced heterogeneous structures, composite material, responsive material. Then we need rapid innovations in materials technologies for smart manufacturing system. So scalable and sustainable material technology development, which is nanotechnology like graphene, carbon nanotubes, inorganic nanoparticles, conducting polymers, etc. Renewable material that harmonize with the environment, that is green material like biopolymer, including cellulose, bacterial cellulose, etc. Advancement in a novel multi-material sensor systems. So sensors for IoT, cyber physical systems, and robot human re-interactions. So the reliability of data depends upon the sensitivity of the sensing material to detect even a small change in the different stimuli. Need innovative multifunctional material which comprises of combinations of conductors, semiconductors, ceramic materials, insulating materials, isolating materials, etc. Then for cost-effective, energy efficient, tunable, and compact sensors are required. I had another slides, but I skipped that. If you are interested, I can show at the end about the materials. Then smart technology. 17 technologies explored in Industry 4.0. We talk about 3D printing, 5G, artificial intelligence, augmented reality, mixed reality, augmented automated guided vehicles, blockchain, cloud, cobots, etc. So there are drones are also used. Even drones are used in the warehouse. Then computing technologies like edge computing. Then smart machines, which synchronize production and global distributions or built to order process involving over billions of components. So smart means what? A smart machine means what? We can plug and work. Simply we can put a plug and can start working on it. Connectivity, modularity, that means they can be assembled quickly. Then reusable design, self-awareness, that is the intelligent machines, digital mobility, data management, safety, and cyber security. So these are some of the characteristics for the smart machines. Smart manufacturing, it is defined by NIST as a system that are fully integrated, collaborative manufacturing system that responds in real time to meet the challenging demands and conditions in the factory, in the supply network, and the customer needs. So you can see that is a combination of various technologies and solutions collectively implemented in a manufacturing ecosystem. Helps in making the entire manufacturing process optimized, transparent, and flexible. Then application of prominent industries 4.0 enabled technologies like CPS, integration platforms, IIoT, smart machines, etc. Analytics, they are supporting pillars for the smart manufacturing. Smart factory, manufacturing plant, and global facility inside. So we can have the factory in which the automated inspection can be done. The monitor production flow in a real time to eliminate the waste time and reduce the in-process inventories. Then manage equipments remotely using the sensors and limits to conserve the energy and reduce the cost. Then production line triggers autonomous material handling vehicles. RFID sensors identify produce products and materials. Aggregate products and process data, analyze, identify constraints and improvement areas, and then also implement condition-based maintenance alerts to reduce the downtime and increase throughput. So all these things are defined the smart factories. Smart data, that is digital information intelligent enough to configure to make instant decision or incoming data at the source itself. That means it is independent of the centralized processing power. So the operator has the control over here and we can use the data before processing further. So before forwarding it to the downstream analytics platform for further data consolidation analytics. So here smart data means data ingestion, data preparation, visualization and reporting of the data, actionable insights, statistical modeling for the data, then predictive modeling, machine learning, smart notifications, etc. are some of the parts of these smart data. You can see one of the applications of smart data management like augmented reality, quality data analysis for tool for production and quality monitoring. So you can see over here, the data is collected by sensors, different sensors are used, and that can be model. Okay, you can have the normal distribution curve, CP, CPK, RP, and everything is there. You can see on the tab, and accordingly, you can have the control over the process. Then smart product. So smart product is integrated into the modern production flow. It rallies around the embedded system, integrated connectivity, sensor technology, data capturing, and data processing capabilities. It provides the identity and also describe their status and life cycle history via RFID. So performance can be performed tasks in autonomous manner, so we can take decisions based on data. Synchronize tasks centrally or decentrally through the cloud platforms. Self-process, it can store data, communicate with each other, interact with each other within the industrial ecosystem, adapt to dynamic environmental conditions, changing conditions. Computing, it has the computing algorithms and machine learning, which helps to adapt or processing further step, including the production stages. It's resulting into the finished product as well as the upcoming maintenance operations. So from the basis for the development and modernization of new industrial applications, these are some of the characteristics of the smart product. You can see one of the example of smart product is rolling mill vibration monitoring. So that rolling mills, roller bearings, the sensors are attached to that, which can be wireless connection maybe there, and the data acquisition, data is collected, data elaboration, and then based on that, you can have the vibration and kinetic energy harvesting via piezoelectric and magnetic coupling. All these things can be used for diagnosis, prognosis, control, maintenance, everything. So this is a smart bearing. Smart services. Smart products empower the development of smart services. Examples: database, business model, smart city, smart healthcare, smart agriculture, interconnected real world with the virtual world, which helps to provide smart services. Progressive movement toward the socio-technical digital ecosystem. Future smart products and services. The shelf life of modern technology is changing very rapidly. It's very short life. So to more innovations and efficient ones for embracing the unleashing of Industry 4.0. Smart warehouse. In today's warehouse, we are also having the drones or robots are used to automate the workflow, drive efficiency. Machines, computing devices, objects are linked into a single network that transmit the instantly collected data, analyze it, and use it. So you can see that over here tracking is there, for that 4D views is there, picking and routing, staging, then messaging, safety, transactions, logistic, everything is automated. So here you can use the robots, cobots, warehouse management system software is also there to help it. Smart logistic process, which transform from labor machine intensive setup to entirely digital setup, and logistical assets. So driverless transportation, drones, robots, cobots, etc. are used. You can see over here, this is the food supply chain logistics. So here we're having a van where you can have the control, the monitoring, tracking, everything, the tracking, then ignitions, temperatures, everything the related to product can be monitored over here. Data will be collected, that will be connected to cloud, and then that is also the distribution center from the logistics, that trucks again go to the market, local market. So meanwhile transactions also we can monitor all these things. So and then ultimately reach to the customer. Smart supply chain. Self-organizing, intelligent, and autonomous real-time flow of resources, inventories, materials, and informations. So this flow, real-time flow, is between the source point and the consumption point, that is end customer, and various points in between as well. So it converted data into meaningful intelligence for decisions and actions are autonomous or semi-autonomous or human. So use industrial IoT technologies like blockchain, machine learning, artificial intelligence, cloud computing, edge computing, etc. So it makes supply chain more efficient and visible at each stage of product life cycle. So end-to-end visibility, logistics, supply chain management, services, cycles, etc., forecasting, manufacturing, everything can be visible and more efficient. Indispensable human elements in smart supply chain management. So you cannot completely remove the human being from these supply chains, smart supply chains. So need human for on-demand planning, quick decisions, and managing uncertainty. Need collaboration between man and machine, that is cobots, for warehousing. Need better collaboration and communication between the stakeholders for value creation. So here you cannot simply eliminate the human being. It has to be there. So one of the example of smart supply chain, the smart inventories, smart pickup, smart deliveries, smart grocery shops, everything is connected. Everything is connected. The information is given to the centralized clouds, and that's why you can control all processes over here using the cloud computing. Now, the business area of Industry 4.0. So we are having business activities, functions, business process, business models, business ecosystem, business assets, organizational culture, partnership ecosystems, people empowerment, all these things in which you can use Industry 4.0 technologies. So three core capabilities to successfully navigate digital transformation and protect against the digital disruption. All organizations need to develop three core capabilities, which are hyper awareness, second, informed decision making, and the decision making and execution should be fast. So these three things are required. So you can use this Industry 4.0 in predictive maintenance, safety, scheduling optimization, asset utilization, cyber security, load balancing, then quality assurance, supply chain optimization, inventory management, performance optimization, and so many. So everywhere you can use this Industry 4.0 technologies. For example, machine control and production. So application for control of machines, manufacturing process to monitor and verify quality and system variables. Then production and robotics. So here, a solution for motion control, cyclic synchronization of axis and management of the complex investment, remote monitoring, control system dedicated to data collection and remote monitoring, control diagnostic for plant and machineries and equipments, energy efficiency, system for control and optimization of the energy consumption for large and small systems, preventive maintenance, condition monitoring, application for collection of the data, acquisition of the data, and then analytics of the data for the plant and process variables over the time, and that too in the real time. Environmental monitoring, solution for continuous measuring and registration of the environmental parameters. So everywhere you can use this. Now how to implement it? So three fundamental questions to be asked. Why do we need to transform? Second question, what do we need to do to transform, and how can we transform? So 44% respondents says that their organization are adequately preparing for the disruption to come. That means still there is a chance for more response. So there often is a lack of clear purpose. People, processes, and purpose are key points, but only if connected. So we require connection of the people, process, and purpose. So here, set a clear vision, then plan, and then take actions. That is a digital transformation strategy. You can have the simple thing over here. We require as it diagnosis. So what is our current status? So we should be able to know and measure our current status of our processes. That is baseline of manpower, productivity, energy, performance metrics, whatever it may be. So, for example, that customer satisfaction rate or timely delivery, reliability, OEE. So, we must know the basic parameters of our production systems or whatever we are doing. So, where we are at present. Then we have to find out the opportunities for improvement. So, for that, you can use the benchmarking. You can apply the levers like that McKinsey had used. Use IoT and business analytics, explore alternate supply chain options, business models, etc. Identify improvement opportunity in different areas, prioritize your improvement projects, and estimate the return on investments. And next is that after opportunities prioritization, we can go for planning and implementation. So have a support of stakeholders, steering committee, implementation, team formation, maybe they are required. It is similar to that Six Sigma project implementation. Then resource commitment and implementation by teams, project monitoring and control. And then lastly, we have to assess how much success we got. And then if you have the great success, then how we can propagate that to the other part of our business. So the challenges here, implementation, the skill shortage and resistance to outsource, rarely a clear and phased strategic plan, lack of access to proof points, data and cybersecurity is a concern, need for large scale and rapid investments, lack of culture collaborations, and there are so many things are there which are challenging. Use cases, you can see one of the example is Polaris, which are globally known for snowmobiles and all-terrain vehicles. So Polaris look to deliver a superior end-to-end experience to its customers. So Polaris set out to change the way they design, manufacture, and service their products. So Polaris adopted a step-by-step approach to digital transformation with PTC as their key partner. And then starting with the product lifecycle management and extending the platform through IIoT to augmented reality, gaining visibility throughout the product lifecycle from concept to product design to manufacturing to real world use. And it was a critical part of digital transformation journey. So details, you can have the details from websites. Now, all this about Industry 4.0, but what is going to happen next? What will be the future? And that is already started, Industry 5.0. That is emerging trend. And second is digital lean production system. So Industry 5.0 is already an emerging and most disruptive trend in technology. It's a movement from mass production to mass customization and to the personalization. That means need of individual customers is taking into consideration, and we are designing the product for individual customer. So Industry 4.0 start to move towards Industry 5.0 when we begin to allow a customer to customize what they want. So based on the real customer, individual customer data, the requirements, and we're changing our designs and producing the product which is required for that particular customer. So we are moving from mass customization to the personalization for the customers. So it's focus on interactions and collaboration between man and machine. Human intelligence work with the harmony with cognitive computing, and then human work for collaborative robots, upskilled workers to provide only value-added tasks. When you use robots, that means what? Our human being is there only to add value in the process. Okay, बाकी सब रूटीन काम रोबोट कर लेगा, जो वैल्यू एडिशन का काम है वही ह्यूमन बीइंग का काम रहेगा. For example, in the medical field, the use of Industry 5.0. Now see, this is a medical professional working on the artificial pancreas to control type 1 diabetes, which is very difficult to control. So the medical professional working on this to create artificial pancreas, which will track the control system for individual patients need in a real time. So type 1 diabetes sufferers are issued with the device that draw bloods, measure the sugar level in the blood. The device talk to another device, which they deliver the insulin into patient's blood. So this is for individual requirements, as per the requirements. So this Industry 5.0, I think will have the long-lasting effects on the medical field, because when we have the, for example, another example of in the medical field, the implants. So implants are not personalized. It is having mass productions. So we are having different sizes, but then if they are not fitted properly to the particular human being, then it creates problems. Okay, and no one can be a similar person. That means when we have the human being, all human beings are unique one. So their internal dimensions, size, etc. of the each and every organs and parts and both like that, which may not be same. Okay, but what we are doing today, we are having a common standard implants that we implanted in our body, and that may, if there's some mismatches there, that create problems in the functioning, and it cause a lot of pain. So what is going to happen next time? Simply the 3D printed body parts like bones, etc. Joints can be designed, and that for a particular patients it can be designed and reproduced by 3D printings, and that can be used. That will be the future. Then another trend, digital lean production system. So already I stated that you cannot exclude the lean manufacturing. That is a part and parcel, and it will exist forever. Lean manufacturing and Industry 4.0 are not mutually exclusive. They cannot be separated. Because for automated system, we require streamlining the system. That means we have to remove waste first. So waste removal, no one can beat lean manufacturing methodology. So we have to use that first. So that is basic prerequisite. Before going for any automation, we have to use lean manufacturing. Okay. And second thing is that the embedded Industry 4.0 innovative automation into lean manufacturing creates more flexible, efficient, and world-class digital lean production system. So it needs a right degree of selective embedded automations for value addition and enhanced flow for business process by reducing human variability. Focusing on all aspects of manufacturing, the best approach to remain competitive in the fierce global market. And seamlessly integration of lean and Industry 4.0 required to transform digital lean enterprise. So that means it involves all your suppliers and customer aspect. So that is lean enterprise, and that should be digital. And here, so first part is that you have to streamline the process. So you have to remove the waste. So lean manufacturing has to be there. Then you have to use Industry 4.0 and that disruptive innovations. And the next question is that one of the methodology called as TRIZ, the Russian methodology of rapid innovations, that has to be there. Without that, that is huge knowledge is there, which is hidden in that TRIZ methodologies that can be used for making patent winning products that can be used as a in the Industry 4.0 innovations. So what I think that we must have the knowledge of course, lean manufacturing, TRIZ, Six Sigma methodology, everything has to be there, and which can be augmented with the Industry 4.0 technology. So whatever we require, that technology has to be used, and that is to be in the lean manufacturing. So first we have to develop lean systems in our factory, and then only go for automation. Without that, everything is useless. You can see over here the initial state. Then only if you apply lean optimization, you can get the benefits of 15 to 20% cost reduction. If you apply only the Industry 4.0, then you can get only 10 to 15% cost reduction. But if you apply both together simultaneously wherever required, you can hear which is there in the digital lean manufacturing system. So what we discussed today is about the fourth industrial revolution, Industry 4.0, application of disruptive technologies based on smart automations, bringing together the robots, interconnected devices, fast networks of data within a factory environment. Smart automation and robotics reduce errors and waste, massive increase in innovations, productivity, quality, flexibility, speed, and safety. But Industry 4.0 is not a magic pen to solve the problems of mismanaged and poorly organized manufacturing systems. However, these problems can be managed by lean production system. So prerequisites for Industry 4.0 technology-based automation is that number one, manufacturing system needs to perform effectively and efficiently, then streamline and effective data information flow. Hence, lean system must be in place before adoption of Industry 4.0 because lean production system is designed to flow. So flow value, you can see on the right side diagram. That is the 5 principles of lean manufacturing. Value, then value streams mapping, then create a flow, then pull the system, and then perfection. So everywhere we require, that is focus on waste reduction. So that's why lean manufacturing will be first in place, and then you can go for the automation. Before conclusion, we'll have some videos. Just a wait of a minute.
Sandeep, you're there?
Yes, sir. Wait.
Just a minute. Just a minute. Mr. Sandeep Rege.
Just a minute. PPT video visible, sir? Hello.
Yes, it is visible. Sir, इस वीडियो के बारे में भी बताइए ना कि what is this? What are we seeing?
Hello.
Yeah, please also
Hello,
give
sir.
a commentary as to what are we seeing here.
We are seeing over here Industry 4.0 applications in bottling plant of Siemens.
Okay, in Germany.
Yeah.
So how is 4.0 doing anything different from a normal bottling plant?
Yes, sir. Just wait.
Sir, the second clip has some sound in it.
Yes, sir.
Because the first clip had no sound, so we didn't understand what we were looking at.
Oh, I'm sorry. What was the problem? Okay. आवाज क्यों नहीं आ रहा है? मेरे को तो आवाज आ रहा था सर.
सर आपने वो जैक डाला हुआ है ना, उसके कारण हमको आवाज बंद हो गया.
Okay, sorry. अभी आ रहा है सर?
हाँ, ये सभी साउंड आ रहा है.
हेलो. सर अभी आवाज आया था?
हाँ, ये से
वीडियो
सभी
का?
आया था.
Oh, sorry. Okay. Next slightly, just 4-5 minutes, please. Can I?
Yeah, please.
School in Chicago at Northwestern. This was research that we were doing in grad school for aerial vehicles, aerial robots flying around in warehouse-like settings, and being able to recognize these using computer vision and machine learning. Realize that this has real industrial.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Hello.
हाँ, बोलिए.
Can you stop here now?
Pardon?
Okay. Any question? Can you stop here or here?
Okay.
I think I overshoot time.
Mr. Sandeep, Over to you, Sandeep Rege. Over to you.
Yes. So first of all, thank you very much, Doctor,
Thank you, sir.
for your nice elaborative lecture on 4.0. Lot of questions, of course.
Hello. 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 Hello, sir.
Yeah, doctor, we can hear you, but there is
Yeah.
some link is broken, it looks.
Okay.
So Dr. Jadhav, how
Yes,
is
sir.
Industry 4.0 different from PLM plus ERP? Basically, it looks like a new name for ERP plus PLM. Only thing is,
No, sir.
all the
The
PLM
data,
is for short perishable items.
no, ERP, etc. These are the data can be fed to the CPS, and then we can control over there. So ERP is only for that enterprise resource planning and controlling that. Here we are using the advanced technologies like cloud computing, edge computing. So data is there, big data analysis. So we
ERP
can have
also does that, sir.
yeah, sir. ERP is can be used in CPS.
Yeah.
That's only one part of it. Industry 4.0. Hello.
Sandeep, can you hear me? Mr. Sandeep Rege.
Hello.
Can you hear me? We can't hear you at all.
Hello, sir. Hello. 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 Hello.
Yeah, it looks that we
Hello.
have lost control from Mr. Sandeep.
Sandeep, we can't hear. Sandeep, we can't hear you.
So in ERP, we are not using any disruptive technologies like big data, artificial intelligence, या फिर augmented reality, virtual reality. These are not there. It's only data. That data, ERP can be a part of that complete Industry 4.0. So that data can be used.
Doctor, just one query, because now Industry 4, Industry 5 also you said is coming up.
Yes, sir.
How is the pace now, and what is the real need for the industries to grow ahead? What is the more important for people going for the Industry 5? What is your recommendation?
Sir, what I feel personally, based on my experience and knowledge, I can say that before automation, we have to first streamline our process. So basically, we have to implement lean manufacturing first, and then we can go for the required technologies. You can use, you can embed that technologies in our system. So there is no point going for automation without streamlining our processes, because if our processes are not streamlined, that means it creates waste. So that is useless. That will add more. That is ROI will be less in that case. Profit margin will be less in that case. So here first we have to go for. We have to first analyze where we are. So we have to have our data collection should be there. So that is similar to a Six Sigma methodology like define, measure, analyze, improve, and control. So first we have to define where we are today, and then we can have the benchmarking in how many days or how many months we have to go at what stage. So that is to be defined, and then we can proceed further. So first is that streamlining the processes. That is the important part.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
See, there is one question I think I can read from that matter. That is from a college graduate. College graduate, he has asked how they should look at this Industry 4 as they are the still learning phase, and how they should prepare for it?
Yes, sir. See, for college graduates now, just now I talk about that cultural change. So we require the basic mindset, change in mindset of top management because they are the leaders. They must know the big pictures of the industry because they are from the top side. So revenue streams, suppliers, whatever may be. So they have to look for that. And then the workforce, which are working on the shop floor. So we need technical graduates, the fresh graduates, generally, of course, they cannot reach directly to the top management. So they have to work at the local level, low level, and middle level. Okay, so they have to understand the basic technologies used in Industry 4.0. They must be aware of this. They must be know what are the how to use it. So they should be techno savvy. So you cannot say that I'm a mechanical engineer. I will only do the traditional mechanical engineering. No, that is not a part. So 25 years back, when I was in NIT Nagpur, then I was selected in Bajaj Auto. What I observed that at that time also, whatever I know, I learn in the engineering, only 20% is applicable and rest of the 80% I have to learn by myself because the technology, there is a gap, huge gap between curriculum and the industry requirements. And today at present, this is a very huge gap is there because of Industry 4.0 technologies, because they are changing rapidly. Even that their shelf life on each and every technology also is very small. You can see that from the evolution 1, 2, 3, 4. So 90 years first, then second to first, second 90 years, second to third again 90 years, then 60 years, and then Industry 4.0 to Industry 5.0 only 10 years, not less than 10 years. So you can see them at what pace they are accelerating. So the today's engineers must know that they should go out of their curriculum. Curriculum is only for examination purpose, certification purpose, but that will not give you guarantee of the employment. And if you go through the various surveys, there's a huge clear-cut gap between the employability of engineers. 75%, more than 75% engineers are not employable. Means what? They don't have the required skill which is required at present today by the industries. And today's industry want the Industry 4.0 technologies like big data, augmented reality, virtual reality, computing, edge computing, cloud computing, Python, and so many things are there. Machine learning is there. So I cannot say that I'm mechanical engineer, I will only do for that. So no, we have to go beyond that.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
There is one question also there. If you can suggest some of the books just to go through and learn some basics about this.
Okay.
Industry 4 and Industry 5.
So that can be, you can search from internet, maybe many books may be available. Videos, lot of videos are available on the YouTube. Basically, just now, whatever I have shown you, that videos, obviously I had many videos, 180 videos, but I could not run at the same time because of lack of time. But great videos are available on YouTube also. You can refer anyone, no problem.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Any other questions from the other attendees?
Hello, sir. Am I audible?
Yeah.
Yes.
Just a minute, Nitin. Bharat Kumar has asked a question. So one point is there about how to prepare. No? So I already told that you have to go beyond your syllabus. Syllabus is only for examinations, and in reality, you have to learn. So you can go for now online training courses are available. Sometimes there are also free training courses are available. So you can learn a lot on the internet, from the websites, from the other service providers. So you can go. There are many platforms which will provide the learning materials also. So you can go through that. Okay. So a lot of resources available. So whatever you can use that, and any other students can use that. Those who want to learn many things. Okay, they can get the certification because certification is also important part of your the professional life. Okay, Nitin, please. Hello, Nitin.
Jadhav, sir, am I audible?
Yeah.
So, sir, how AI is going to work hand in hand with artificial intelligence? Mechanical engineering is how going to be hand in hand with mechanical engineering?
See,
The
now you have to see, you learn the design of machine design, okay, in the final year. But that is only basic things are there. In the reality, you have to design a lot of things. So you have the lot of information about materials, their use, okay, the design aspects, the stresses, the product life cycle, the stresses involved in that, and there are so many things are there. So artificial intelligence will help you to make the product very that is customized and personalized and efficient, flexible. Hello, Nitin.
and which are the possible eras in which AI can accommodate in mechanical
Everywhere,
engineering?
everywhere. You have to see. You have to explore the applications of it.
Thank you, sir.
Just now I give an example. No? Next few in future, the medical field is going to revolutionize everything. For example, personalized joint replacement. So taking the MRI scan, taking measurement online, and then 3D printing of that. So everywhere, just like the same technologies, 3D printing, there are another applications of artificial intelligence that can be used. So which technologies were you used to where, that is depend upon the designing and application part of it. So at this moment, we cannot say that only this technology is applicable for this particular product. That depends upon the process and the products. Am I satisfied with your question, Nitin? Hello.
Yeah. Your answers are very informative.
Thank you,
So,
sir.
and a lot of times we listen about Industry 4, Industry 5, but now at least we got some complete foresight of all the things and even the individual's contribution. One thing
So,
surely we understood that the skill levels you mentioned in your slides many times that certain skill levels are very important for this change. Means Industry 4 also, Industry 5 also. Industry 5 is more oriented to the customer specific requirements and making yourself mold to those specific requirements. Otherwise, it's not a generalized. But
yes, sir.
then, as you said, the specialization versus all knowledge together. That kind of thing will happen maybe in near future. That persons should have capability to understand and keep all the knowledges and not only one specialized thing.
Yeah, but it's of no point is jack of all and master of none. We must have the mastery over at least one or two technologies so that we can use it properly.
Yeah.
But then
Thank you
again,
very much.
but again, then there is a question: how far that technology will last long? Because again, that is going to be replaced by something else. So that means what? We have to keep learning ourselves first. And there may not be any guru available to you कि ऐसा जैसे आपने ट्रेडिशनल वे से होता है ऐसा करो वैसा करो कोई नहीं रहेगा. You have to self learn.
Okay. Thank you.
Or sometimes there may be the trainers may be available, but since that may be a time consuming, that may be a cost involved in that. But if you adopt a self learning style, that will be a big boost for our personal improvement.
Hello.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Maybe he
Hello.
can rap now.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, Sandeep ji.
Yeah,
We can
I'm
hear you.
sorry, I was not able to get through. Somehow I'm now got through. So thank you very much, Dr. Jadhav, sir.
Thank you, sir.
And thank you very much all the participants. It was nice, very informative lecture. I know the topic of 4.0 is very wide and people have done it for years and wrapping it up in 45 minutes is a Herculean task. But
Yes, sir.
you could do it because of your wide knowledge and experience in this field. So thank you very much, Professor. Thank you very much, all the participants, and happy Diwali to you, all the participants. Again, for next Saturday, being the auspicious day of Diwali, we will not be able to conduct these lectures. A lot of people and lecturers are out of town. So we'll be doing it on 13th of November, again starting with heat treatment and its metallography and maintenance of furnaces. So keep attending this and get free knowledge and educate yourself and ourselves also. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And thank you very much all the participants and the professor for today. And happy Diwali to you. And from your ASM team here, India chapter, thank you very much.
Thank you very
Thank
much,
you,
sir. Happy
Sandeep ji,
Diwali to
and
you all.
wish you all, everybody, happy Diwali.
Happy Diwali,
And
sir.
special thanks to Nitin for conducting all the question answers.